All right, so I'd like to talk a little bit about shitty parts in the market and people, suppliers mainly. Like I'm an English speaking guy. I don't speak Mandarin or Cantonese or uh, Urdu or Arabic uh, or the language that they speak in India. Sorry that I don't know the name of this language, um, but I don't speak these languages, and I go to wholesalers that are from these countries that speak these languages. And the funny thing is, these wholesalers, they also speak English, and they speak English quite well. In a lot of cases, better than I speak English. Their grammar is much more proper than mine is. Uh, their sentences are more grammatically correct than mine are. And the troubling thing is, when you go to these wholesalers, even when they're speaking about you, they don't speak English. And it's really quite disturbing. Uh, you know, as a person, I mean, I couldn't see myself opening up in another country where I know the native tongue, yet I hire all English speaking people whom we only speak English. If I had a shop in another country like that, I would it would be a requirement, it would be mandated that if there's one other person in the store, it doesn't matter if they're looking at something in another part of the store and they're out of earshot, or you think they're out of earshot, you better be speaking their native tongue if you know how to speak it. If you don't know how to speak it, that's another issue altogether. If you feel that you don't know how to speak the native tongue fluently, I think that you should still make an effort to speak the native tongue. And so, I'm going to these suppliers now, and I'm getting refurbished LCDs from a particular supplier in Markham. I don't know if any of you watching this video will know who I'm talking about, so I feel pretty safe talking about them, I guess. But regardless, they speak either Cantonese or Mandarin, and they do LCD refurbishing. And the thing is, there's no communication happening. So I don't know, I don't really know what's going on when I'm buying these refurbished LCDs. Particularly right now, the Samsung S6, S7, Note 5, Note 4. These LCDs seem to be giving me some problems where, I really don't know if it's the customer who broke the display or shitty refurbishing. And the thing is, like, if you trust me enough to sell me parts with a warranty, yet, and you want me to test it, yet, you don't want me to bring it back if this back piece of plastic has been pulled off. Even if it's put back on, you won't take it back. And on top of it, you won't communicate with me. It's like a lot of times right now we seem to be reaching for information and sort of like just clawing our way trying to get it, and it's not readily available. It's not readily available online. It's not readily available amongst our peers. They're unwilling to share information with us, and I really don't understand why. Especially wholesalers and refurbishers, they should be more than happy to share information with us. There's right now in my mind, there's a real handful of people who are doing this type of work um, who are really any good, and the people who are that I know of that are really good are from through YouTube, through forums, um, like on GSM forum. There's whites. On YouTube, you got Lewis Rossman, you got Jessa Jones, you got Jason from STS, you got Jason from microsolderingsupply.com. Forgive me, but I don't know the guy's name from microsoldering.com. Um, Leon Stacy, and a couple other guys who are putting up videos who are able to do this type of micro soldering work. And slowly, what I'm noticing is they all start slowly stop doing screen replacements. They stop doing the like plug and play, charge ports. They stop doing these simpler repairs, not just only because they can do other jobs, and or at least from my perspective, myself, I'm also really contemplating quitting doing these LCD replacements and so forth, and not just because these other jobs seem to be more profitable and much more interesting, but also because you just don't know. You're getting shitty products from suppliers who are selling stuff, a lot of times they know is bunk. Like, I've returned things before and told my supplier this doesn't work, and I've watched them put it back in a bin, and I'm saying, don't sell that to somebody else, because, what if they end up just using it and don't care? Right? And that's the thing, you know what I mean? It's the make a buck today and fuck you tomorrow model, that doesn't really work for very long. So, you see a lot of cell phone stores open up, a lot of them close down, a lot of people get involved in this work and they don't have a passion for this type of work. They just think it's an easy way to make a buck. And it could be for a good few months, but then you end up losing your shirt if you don't really have an understanding of the way that these devices work. I'm just kind of getting fed up with the way that I see this stuff going. It doesn't have to be this way. It really doesn't. I mean, we could all share our knowledge, and none of us are holding the secret key to the kingdom or anything. So, sharing is caring, and knowledge, if you're willing to get it, shouldn't be that hard to obtain, if you're willing to put in the work. It might cost you a little bit of money, and it's definitely going to cost you a lot of time. But all these barriers in the way, really, I've seen a lot of repair shops recently crying about being slow, and even suppliers really crying about being slow, and I'm quite surprised. Some suppliers that I felt had been doing high volume seemed to drop right off recently. The place in Markham being one of them, and I think a big reason for that is not keeping it tight, not speaking in the language that everyone understands, so that we all know what's going on. Grabbing the calculator and typing in a price and showing it to a customer because there's another customer right next to them. I mean, that doesn't make anybody feel warm and welcome, right? And it doesn't make me feel special that you're giving me a special price, because I know fucking damn well you're not. You know what I mean? In fact, I think the opposite. I think you're giving the guy next to me a cheaper price when you're doing that. So, It's all this kind of weird shit going on, right? And people selling junk, people selling stuff that they know isn't up to spec, people selling stuff that they know doesn't work at all. People refusing to take things back when they don't work and it hasn't been broken by a technician. I think, again, instead of taking on every single repair shop, I think there kind of needs to be some standard. Well, what do you do at your repair store, right? Let us see if we are really the company to help you out in terms of supplying you parts, because we have this return policy, and we honor this return policy, and we are open and transparent and in our business model. So we want to make sure that we're taking on people that actually know how to put these things together, right? Anyways, that's my little bit on myself also seeing myself gonna be stopping to do these LCD repairs, because these refurbished LCDs are just, I just don't trust them anymore. The iPhone ones seem to be okay. The newer Samsung ones, I don't trust them. The glass is also cheaper. It's also cheaper. Like, for instance, I just paid $350 my wholesale cost for an S7 Edge display, and you can go to Samsung themselves and get that done for $270. So I don't know. I just want to tell the customers that, if they go somewhere else to another shop, I'm not scared of that. I've stopped doing iPhone unlocking because of all the relocks and all of the bullshit in the iPhone unlocking, world, and I'm starting to see that now I'm gonna be getting away from screen replacements. So my parts bins are gonna be emptying out, and I'm not gonna be making less money. I'm gonna be in the end more profitable. But as a full service repair store, I feel like we should be able to, continue to service these devices for people who want them fixed, right? If Sony Xperia Z3 is easier to put on without a frame, or you're selling it without a frame, you should have the adhesive, the proper cutout adhesive that goes with it, and you should, care about having that, right? When you sell that part, and then you should know, well, Z5 is easier with the frame, right? But we have it without the frame and no adhesive. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you're setting people up to fail. But your whole business is based around LCD refurbishing, so you should know you should be an LCD specialist, and you should be willing to share the knowledge that you have with us. I'm not gonna go open an LCD refurbishing center. Fucking believe me, I don't want to do that. I wanted to do the stuff that I am doing. I want to do, board level repairs, which is why I went out and spent all this money, on the Hacko FM203 and the JBC hot air station and the microscope, and continue to spend and to devote my time to that. I do want to do the LCD refurbishing, but not the LCD refurbishing, but the LCD replacements, and I do want to replace, the charger ports on the phones, even the, like, let's say the S6 charger port, which, can be done, but it's very dangerous. If you end up killing the home button or one of the sub keys or then you're kind of just fucked, right? Then you need to replace that screen basically because of the way it's put in there, or you want to risk breaking that screen, which I fucking don't want to do. It's not worth it to me. So if there was more transparency and communication, starting with you, basically, it starts, whichever part of this business you're involved in, it starts with you, and hiding this shit really is going to affect your bottom line in the end. I know it. I've always felt that way. I've always felt you know, if the people around you are making money, you are going to make money, and that's just as simple as that. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents on where this LCD replacement market is going, and the difficulties that you can easily have with suppliers, and the pain in the ass that can definitely create.